Hi, Mitch the Book Monster. Do a video after about 5 days, which isn't too bad. I would have liked to do a video sooner than today, but things happen. So I don't know if anybody goes on the channel's community post page or not, but on there I wrote out a, you know, not not outline, but some video ideas I was thinking about putting on the channel. Well, this is one of them, and for this video, it will be a loose TBR is what I'm calling it. I said in the past I'm not doing TBR videos going forward because for one reason or another I can't stick to saying, hey, I'm going to read this book right now and actually see it through and come back and say, I've finished the book. For some reason or another, I just can't. I think part of the reason is because it just takes me a while to read one book, um, not not putting myself down at all, uh, that nature or anybody else that is a slow reader. Um, if you're watching this and identify yourself as a slow reader, just know you're among company. So, all that being said, this loose TBR won't be saying, won't be me saying, this is what I'll definitely read and when and how long and any of that. This loose TBR is me saying, hey, these are some books that I've been having my eye on. I don't know when I will get to them, but I plan to read them eventually in the near future, in the far future, today, tomorrow, whatever. So, again, as always, I won't be holding up any books to show. Um, just know all the books in one way or another that I'm talking about in this video. In one way or another, I have access to them, whether they be physical or Kindle readers. yeah, that would be the only two options for me, really, is physical copies or Kindle e-reader, Amazon, um, Fire 10 device. Um, so here goes everything. So of course I've been streaming for well over a month now that I've been reading Heir to the Empire, Star Wars, Legacy, or EU, whichever um, heading title you prefer to give those books. Heir to the Empire is by Timothy Zahn. Book one in the original Thrawn trilogy that jumps off from the original Star Wars trilogy of movies. So, I am still reading Heir to the Empire. Um, like I said, slow reader. Don't have a problem with that. I am enjoying it enough to see the book through and see the whole series through. So I will be continuing on with Heir to the Empire and the other two books escape my mind at the moment. If you wish, you can put the titles in the comments if you know them. However, I'm just not racking my brain right now to come up with anything close to what the two remaining titles are. However, all that being said, I am 45% into the first book, more or less. I believe it's no more than 45, no less than 43 or 4%, about 230 pages overall. So, as I've said before, it's slow going, but it's going well at the same time. All I can really say about that. So the next couple of books um, are quote unquote related in one way or another. Well, one big way, I guess. And no, the books are not related in the case of they're in a series together by the same author, but they are related to one another because the two authors are related in life. And those two authors are Stephen King and Joe Hill. If you're not familiar with Stephen King, I'm sorry to say it like this. Where have you been? Even if you're not into his style of writing or his um, material that he writes about typically, you more than likely, unless you're a little bitty baby, right now you've heard the name Stephen King. Even little babies, I'm sure, might be familiar with the name Stephen King. That's kind of a joke. Um, Sorry if it's a lame joke, but it's a joke. Um, in the book I would eventually like to read by him, I have one hand is none other than The Stand. And I have that on hardcover, and that has more or less 1,100, give or take. It's 1,153 or 54, if I remember right. More or less, give or take. For some reason, 4 or 5 of the pages at the very beginning, the opening prologue, technically numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. They just have lowercase Roman numerals at the top, right or left hand corner for whatever reason. So that's why I say the page count varies a little bit, but nonetheless, the copy that I've got on hardcover has no less than 1,000 pages. So when I start that, it will be a while before I see that through, regardless of the speed I, typically read. So 1,100 pages, you know, is well worth the story King is trying to tell. But again, like I said, it'll just take some time to read all that, which is not a problem. I'm not sitting here saying, oh Lord, 1,100 pages. Um, what have I gotten myself into? Knowing Stephen King, I've gotten myself into a story well worth the time and effort he took to write that, and well worth time and effort me to read it. So, all that being said, the next book that I will mention that is related to Stephen King is Joe Hill, the author Joe Hill, and the book of his is Heart-Shaped Box. And the reason I say Stephen King, Stan, and Joe Hill, Heart-Shaped Box related is because Stephen King is the father of Joe Hill. Joe Hill is just a pen name of one of Stephen King's sons. I guess if Joe Hill went under the name Joe King, no one would take him seriously. Another little joke there for you. Use all the bad puns, bad sense of humor. Um, Nothing else I can really say. So, other couple of books that I have. By the way, if I didn't mention it, of course, Stephen King's Stand is on hardcover. That's a physical read. And Joey Hill Heart-Shaped Box is a Kindle read. And the Thrawn trilogy, Timothy Zahn, is another Kindle ebook read. So, 4 Kindle books and at least 1 physical hardcover. The next couple of books or physical books. 1 paperback, 1 hardcover. Let's go over the hardcover first. So the hardcover I would like to get to eventually is an Edgar Allan Poe collection of essays, short stories, whatever he's written, whatever Edgar Allan Poe has written, that this compilation decided to put together. I know he has some popular material out there, such as Telltale Heart, The Raven, and maybe a couple of others that I can't think of at the moment. To be honest, I don't know what short stories, poems, essays, or whatever is in that hardback collection that I have. Um, I maybe flipped through it very briefly. I couldn't tell you, just something that caught my eye in the store one day when I was in Houma in Second and on Martin Luther King here in Houma, Louisiana, even though I live in Tino. Houma is no more than 15 to 30 minutes, depending on traffic and where you want to go in Houma. So, Second and Charles on Martin Luther King Boulevard is probably 15 or 20 minutes, again, depending on timing and traffic from where I am. So, not bad of a travel to get there. But anyway, you know, this particular Edgar Allan Poe collection book caught my eye one day when I was in there. Um, I bought that and maybe two or three other things on store credit, more likely. Um, and I believe any other, funds that credit didn't cover. I believe I had something like a gift card or something like that from either birthday or Christmas, something. I don't remember exactly. That was last year at some time. So, the next book I'm going to mention is a paperback. And the paperback is, or the book is Moby Dick. Um, and when I do get to this, eventually, it will be a reread, more or less, of Moby Dick. Because I don't know if anybody out there remembers these books, but I had the hardcover edition of Moby Dick, along with some others. The series of books went under the heading of Great Illustrated Classics, I believe. And those were abridged versions of classic books and stories like Moby Dick and Frankenstein and Black Beauty, Peter Pan, and many, many others. Um, those had text on one page, writing on one page, a black and white illustration on the other page with a caption of, just a sentence or phrase or quote from the page that had text writing on it, of what the picture, what the illustration was trying to convey. So, yeah, I read Moby Dick, a version of Moby Dick that way. So it'll be a reread, sort of, when I get to this version. Alright, there are a lot of other books and stories I want to get to that I have, that I haven't listed here. But if I did that, if I listed them all, who knows how long we'd be sitting here listening to talk about books I want to read. Let me know if you've read any of these that I've mentioned, anything that you may want to read yourself, or anything that you have read that I may want to check out or need to check out. It could be anything: classic literature, fantasy, science fiction, or anything at all. Preferably novels. Um, I don't read too many or any short fiction, poetry, or essays, which is funny in hindsight, because one of the books I listed in this video, more or less has at least some of those things: short stories, poetry, essays, and that's the Edgar Allan Poe collection. But I want to read that. I'm intrigued by it. So I'll read whatever is in that book. That being said, like I said, let me know anything you've read, anything I need to look out for. Thank you. Have a good day, good evening, good night. I'll talk